So I'm so H-double-O-O-D, and I got this money, money, money on me, 'cause I'm hood. Hey, well, it's it's October 29th. It's almost nut job day, or see the women wear some holy outfit day, whatever. Oh, Halloween. My apologies. I'm sorry. I got carried away there. I was losing my mind, seeing the dirty cops and dirty nurses and dirty fairies and dirty. What? Anyway, this is for the November 20th fight for the WBC middleweight title between the number 1 and number 2 ranked middleweights in the world, and that is Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez. Now, in their first fight, they fought to a very close decision that went to Paul Williams, unless you're one of the judges that was smoking crack and scored that fight 119 to 110. What was he smoking, Eduardo? What was that? The purple haze? What? Huh? Man, get out of here. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break both fighters down again, and then I'm going to give my prediction. And before I even get there, I just want to say this is probably one of the toughest fights you'll ever really be able to give or think about and have a prediction for. Now, I'll start off with Paul Williams, and then I'll move over to Sergio Martinez. Paul Williams, we know about his being 6'12" and his 9,000-inch reach, out there, and this fight is at 158, so he can fight at 147, he can fight at 154, 160, all those things. And the biggest thing is what might have been with Paul Williams had he had really decided to fight Kelly Pavlik. Would he be getting the props that Sergio Martinez is getting now? Would he have beaten Pavlik like Sergio Martinez did? He got dropped in the first round in their first fight, and you got to question his chin because he does get hit flush. And but he's still got the power. I mean, we're looking at about a 68% knockout ratio with his 27 knockouts. 39-1, 27 knockouts. There you go. He didn't look great against Cintron. They were both going back and forth there, and then Cintron pulled Superman, didn't get back up. So we didn't get to see what we needed to see, especially after the Martinez fight. We didn't see, like, oh, wow, he's really on. We didn't get to see that with that like we saw with the Martinez fight against Pavlik. So we were kind of, we're kind of torn there. Was it a gift decision that he got over Martinez the first time? We see that he struggles with southpaws. He is one himself. He's a very, very active fighter. He throws every punch under the sun. Doesn't mix it up as well on the inside, but his reach is too massive to really be able to pull that off. Now, he's got a stinging left hand. It's a great straight left that comes out there, and because of his height, there's a lot of power behind it, especially when he actually sits on his punches. Now, he comes straight forward at you, doesn't really use a lot of angles, but his punches come from a lot of angles, if that makes sense. He's not stepping off to the side and throwing the shots. He can just pretty much throw the shot from where he's at, but he does come straight at you. He's open. He can be countered pretty easily, and Martinez showed that with the the left and then coming up with the right hook, and then altering that with going into the straight left hand up top. So he doesn't. He leaves his punches out there. What I mean by that is if you ever watch him when he does throw his jab, once it's out there, instead of bringing it back real fast, it's boom, and there's almost like a pause, and then it kind of comes down. It never comes straight back and up, So he can be countered on those, because once he throws it out there, it's going to be there. He's going to be open up top or below because he's not bringing that back fast enough to see those. As I said, he's open to counters because he drops his right whenever he throws that left hand. So he is open for the hooks himself. You feeling me on that? And he's very open, as I said, when he throws that left hand, because he doesn't bring that back very fast either, and his hands are naturally low. If he sits on his punches more, there's obviously going to be more power. When you look back at the Quintana fight, that was the one fight out of any of them you could say, oh wow, he struggled with that. Came back with an absolute vengeance. So is that what he's going to do in this one? Did he take the Martinez fight too lightly? There's the questions there that you're just like, oh, you wish you could answer, but after he got knocked down in the first round, all that kind of got thrown out the window, So let's go over to Martinez. Fighting probably the best he's fought ever in his life. In the last 2 or 3 fights, at 35 years old, he is fighting the best fighting he's ever done in his life. But if you think about it, he didn't really start fighting until he was 19, got into it when he was 21, so he's about 14 years into his entire fight career. And most fighters, if you think about that, if he started fighting when he was 14, and you add those on there, 14 years, 28, he'd be in his prime, and that's where he's at. So you start thinking about that is now at 35, when is he going to hit the top of the hill and start coming down? So that's something you need to throw in there. But at the same time, he is at his peak boxing-wise, his skill-wise. He spanked Pavlik, which put me in a 3-month depression. I don't want to talk about that fight anymore. Promised myself I wouldn't do this. Okay, it's going to be okay, Eduardo. Quit crying, man. You're going to make me emotional. And I thought he beat Williams in their first fight. I had that scored. I had a couple of even rounds in there. I give even rounds more so than most. So it was like a 116 to 115. It could have been a 114 to 113, 115 to 114. However you want to cut it in there. I had Williams winning, but Martinez winning by 1 more round than I did Williams in their fight. He's a slick boxer. He's a good fighter. He's good counterpuncher, and he's very accurate with his shots. His D isn't spectacular, but anybody that knows me, if your D is not up, I don't like it. He's very good at setting up his shots, and he moves and throws fast. He gets in, he gets out. He doesn't stay in there, and he throws his punches and bunches, and he gets out. He doesn't mess around like that. As I said, he's accurate with his shots, which also means he's a good counterpuncher in that aspect. Good right hooks, and he's got a stinging jab. When he pops it in there, he sets it in there, and he catches them flush with those shots. And you look at his last real loss was over 10 years ago. So when you put all that together, I mean, in the first fight, I predicted that Williams would win. It was a very, very, very close fight. Could have been a draw. I do not think Williams won by no means. If someone said it was a draw, I would say, okay, I'll go with that. But coming off of their last 2 fights, when you look at it, Martinez looks like he's really hitting his prime. And was he fading in that Williams fight? Was he fading there? If you look, I mean, I thought he won the 10th round cleanly. Williams won the 12th round. The 11th looked tied. The 8th and 9th were a draw in my eyes. He lost the 7th, but he won the 6th. He won the first 3 rounds. So, I mean, it all depends on... It depends on what? I don't know what it depends on. I mean, he went 12 rounds. He's went 12 rounds a lot in his career. So he has that. Is Williams going to set on his punches, which is going to make him expend more energy? There's a lot of factors into this fight that make this prediction nearly impossible to go. I want to say, you know what? I said Williams the first time because I saw something there. And I think I'm going to say Williams again this time. Not because I think Williams is the better fighter. I don't think Williams is a better fighter than Martinez. But with the way Williams comes back from a loss, if you look at that, if you put that in perspective, him coming back, he's not going to be taking Martinez lightly at all. He is going to be taking this as serious as possible. He's coming in. He wants to get that title. He doesn't like the fact that people think he lost the fight. So by that, I think Williams is going to take this via unanimous decision. I think it's going to be one of the tightest fights you'll ever see. And if you say, no way, man, Martinez is going to win, I'm not really going to argue with you. Honestly, I mean, this is one of those fights where you're just like, if I'm right, I'm going to look like, hey, wow, he knows what he's... And if I'm wrong, you'll be like, well, he was close. It's not going to be one of those where it's going to be blown out of the water. I don't think he's going to knock Martinez out. He caught him with some good shots. He hurt him. But Martinez caught him with a lot of flush shots. And, I mean, you saw his eyes go, like blink out on you, So, I still think Williams is going to pull this fight out, okay? And it will be a unanimous. It's going all the way. I don't think there's going to be any knockouts. I don't even think there will be any knockdowns in this fight. Okay, there might be 1 or 2. All right? So, that's my thing. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight to watch. I think it's one you shouldn't turn away from. At any time it could happen. And that's it, okay? Well, hey, that's my prediction for the fight. This is Bigragu. I'm out.